You have studied English for maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. You know grammar rules better than some native speakers. You can read a whole novel without a dictionary. But the moment you press play on a movie without subtitles, your brain just shuts down. The words blur together. The actors seem to speak twice as fast as your teacher ever did. And after 2 minutes, you are lost. Sound familiar? If it does, stay with me for the next few minutes because I am about to show you exactly why this happens. And more importantly, how you can fix it. Starting today, not in 6 months, not after another expensive course. Today, with a movie you probably already have saved on your phone right now. So let's get into it. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why your ears freeze up during fast dialogue. You will have a simple 5-step method that actual English learners have used to go from confused to confident. And you will know the one skill almost nobody talks about that changes everything. The skill that turns passive watching into real listening power. So here is the first thing you need to accept, and it might sting a little, but it will set you free. The problem is not that your English is bad. The problem is that movies are not designed to teach you English, they are designed to sound real. And real speech is messy. Actors mumble on purpose. They cut words short. They speak over each other sometimes. Words blend together, so what are you doing becomes something like whatcha doing. And if nobody ever taught you that this happens, of course you feel lost. It is not your intelligence failing you. It is your training that is incomplete. Think about it this way. If you learned to swim only in a calm swimming pool, and then someone threw you into the ocean with waves, with currents, would you blame yourself for struggling? Or would you just say, nobody taught me for this specific situation? That is exactly what is happening with movies. Your classroom English was the calm pool. Movies are the ocean. So now the real question becomes, how do you train for the ocean? And this is where most people get it completely wrong. They think the answer is watching more movies. Just throw yourself into more content, more hours, more exposure, and hope your brain magically adapts. But that is like throwing a non-swimmer into deeper water and expecting them to figure it out through panic. It does not work like that. And if you have tried this already and felt frustrated, please know this is not because you lack talent, it is because you were missing the method. So let me give you the real method, step by step, something you can literally start using in the next 10 minutes. Step number 1, stop starting with difficult movies. I know this sounds obvious, but almost everyone ignores it. You want to jump straight into action movies, thrillers, fast-paced dramas because that is what excites you. But excitement is not the same as readiness. Imagine trying to run a marathon on your very first day of exercise. You would not do that with your body, so why do it with your ears? Start with content designed to be clear. Animated movies are actually perfect for this, not because they are childish, but because the dialogue is slower, cleaner, and easier to separate word from word. Something like a simple animated story, or even a slower-paced romantic comedy, gives your brain the chance to succeed early. And early success is what keeps you motivated to continue. Step number 2, and this one is crucial, watch with subtitles first. But not passively, actively. This means you press play, you read the subtitle, you listen to how it sounds, and if something feels unclear, you pause, you rewind, you listen again. This is not about finishing the movie fast. This is about training your ear to connect what you see written with what you actually hear spoken. Most people binge watch for entertainment, but here you are not watching for entertainment, you are watching for training. There is a difference, and that difference is everything. Step number 3, and this is where the real transformation begins. Once you understand a scene with subtitles, you turn the subtitles off, and you watch that exact same scene again. Now here is a question worth asking yourself. Why would watching something you already understand even matter? Isn't that a waste of time? And this is exactly the doubt that stops most learners from ever improving. But here is the truth. Your brain does not learn language by understanding once. It learns by recognizing patterns repeatedly. When you watch the same scene without subtitles, after already knowing what is being said, something powerful happens. Your brain starts connecting the sound waves directly to meaning, without translating, without struggling. This is the exact moment where real listening skill is built, not from new content, but from repeated exposure to familiar content until it becomes automatic. So let's pause here for a second because I want you to really sit with this idea. Most language learners chase newness, new words, new shows, new content every single day. But real fluency often comes from depth, not width. From going back to the same 3-minute scene 5 times, 6 times, until your brain stops translating and starts simply understanding. That shift from translating to understanding is the entire goal. And once that shift happens, even a little bit, movies stop feeling like a test you are failing and start feeling like something you can actually enjoy. Which, if we are honest, is the whole reason you wanted to learn English through movies in the first place. Now let's talk about why this actually works. Because understanding the reason behind a method is what makes you trust it enough to actually stick with it. When you repeat a scene without subtitles, after already knowing the meaning, your brain is not just memorizing words. It is building something called sound recognition. This means your brain starts to recognize the shape and rhythm of English before your conscious mind even finishes processing it. This is exactly how you understand your own native language. You do not translate your native language in your head. You just understand it instantly. And that instant understanding is built through thousands of hours of repeated sound exposure since childhood. The good news is you do not need thousands of hours to feel that shift in a new language. You need focused, repeated exposure to the same material until your brain stops seeing it as foreign. This is why athletes practice the same movement over and over. This is why musicians play the same scale again and again. Repetition is not boring. Repetition is how mastery is built. And there is one more piece to this puzzle, something almost nobody talks about, which is speaking along with the movie. This is called shadowing, and it might be the single most powerful tool in this entire method. Shadowing means you choose a short scene, maybe just 10 or 15 seconds, and you speak at the exact same time as the actor. Same words, same speed, same tone. At first, this feels strange, maybe even a little embarrassing. But this is exactly what forces your mouth and your ears to work together. Because listening alone trains your ears, but shadowing trains your mouth to catch up to native speed. And once your mouth can keep up, your ears naturally follow. So now let me bring this to life with someone real. Let's talk about Sarah. Sarah loved romantic movies, but every time she tried watching one without subtitles, she felt completely lost. The words moved too fast, and after a few minutes she would just give up and turn subtitles back on. One night, after failing again with a movie she loved, she asked herself a simple question. What if I stopped trying to watch the whole movie and just focused on one small scene? Just 2 minutes. So that is exactly what she did. She picked a short scene, watched it with subtitles first, then turned subtitles off and watched again. Then she said the lines out loud along with the actress. She did this with the same short scene again and again, maybe 5 or 6 times. Some days she felt silly repeating the same 2 minutes, but she kept going. And here is a question worth asking yourself right now. How many times have you watched an entire 2-hour movie you barely understood? Versus how many times have you watched the same 2 minutes until you truly understood it? Sarah chose the second option, and after about 3 weeks of doing this daily, something shifted. She pressed play on a new scene from that same movie without subtitles, and for the first time, she understood almost everything. Not because the movie became easier, but because her brain had been trained. She smiled and said, "This is not magic, this is practice." And that sentence is worth remembering, because so many people are waiting for some magic moment where English suddenly clicks. But the truth is, there is no magic. There is only method plus repetition. And once you accept that, everything becomes so much simpler. So let's bring everything together, because you now have a real path forward. Step 1, start with easier content. Animated movies or slower stories, not the hardest action movie you can find. Step 2, watch with subtitles first, actively, pausing and repeating when something feels unclear. Step 3, watch that same scene again without subtitles, letting your brain connect sound directly to meaning. Step 4, choose a short scene and shadow it, speaking at the same time as the actor, same rhythm, same tone. And Step 5, repeat this daily with short clips, because consistency beats intensity every single time. 5 steps, one scene at a time. And slowly, movies stop being a wall you cannot climb and start becoming a doorway into real, natural English. So here is my honest question for you. Are you willing to watch the same 2-minute scene 5 times this week, just to test this method for yourself? If your answer is yes, drop a comment below and tell me which movie you are starting with. I would genuinely love to know. And if this video gave you even a small spark of hope today, consider hitting like. It helps this message reach more learners who feel exactly like you do right now. And if you want more real, practical methods like this one, not just theory, but things you can actually use today, subscribe, because there is so much more coming. You already have everything you need to start. All that is left is pressing play on that first scene.